Moses Itauma, he had an interview with IFL TV, opened up, and it got me intrigued to make a video. He talks about the Hergovich fight and what the IBF means and if he's going to sway or not. And we also hear about Frank Warren's plan for the future for both Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma. Some interesting stuff that he said that maybe he wasn't supposed to say, but we hear it anyway. And it's a bit interesting. And I want you guys' opinion on it. So that's why I'm making this video. So make sure you like and subscribe and comment in the comment section below what you think of what we're going to discuss today and what you thought of that interview. Let's start off with the fact that Moses Itauma is a great person to interview. He talks well, he sounds smart, and he tells us stuff that we want to hear. So let's get into it. It starts off with obviously some back and forth chat with Kugan Cassius. You know, he's always a nice interview. He starts off like he asks about the football and all that. But we're not here for that. We're here for the fight with Hergovich. And he asks him, are you going to fight Hergovich or are you going to go for the IBF title? And basically, I'm paraphrasing with this because I don't have a script on me or anything. I just watched the video. So I'm going to tell you what I interpreted everything as and kind of paraphrase through it. Ooh. He goes, the IBF title isn't really going anywhere. He can fight for that title at any time. He's going to focus on the Hergovich fight. And he also gives us a little bit insight on that. He's been waiting on Hergovich. He's been wanting the fight for a while. I think we all kind of knew it. There was no, on his part, any hesitation. I don't think we ever got that in our minds. But it was interesting to hear that they didn't hear much from Hergovich at the beginning. And then when they finally did, when he was looking for some, someone to fight because he hasn't heard anything from Hergovich, and Frank Warren apparently has been pretty ready to get Moses Itauma some big fights, some step-up fights, and possibly a title fight as soon as possible, where even his coaches were after that, they were saying after that after the Franklin fight that they were much more convinced, because before that they weren't too convinced. They wanted to see how it will go, and after that Franklin fight they were very confident, and they knew that he could do everything that they thought he could. And so from there they were much confident, and I think they were really going for the Hergovich fight, but they didn't hear from Hergovich at the beginning. I don't know if that's him just taking his time with it, maybe considering his options, or was he slyly thinking, you know what, I don't know if I want it. Maybe negotiations. I don't know. Hergovich doesn't come to me as the person that will duck a fight. So he did take a while, but he came back. And instead of going, yes, I'm going to fight, interestingly enough, he said, I want to warm-up fight. Now that makes sense why he fought Dave Allen, because I was thinking about it. Why is he fighting Dave Allen? He's a cherry pick for Hergovich. And they tried to chalk it up to, oh, Dave Allen, it's another chance for him. He could do it. He could possibly. Mate, there was no chance in hell he was going to do it. He just lost to Makhmudov. There was no way you were going to put him against Makhmudov, lose, and expect anything out of the Hergovich fight. Mate, unless he beat Makhmudov, but he would have had to probably beat him convincingly, which he didn't even closely lost. He lost convincingly against Makhmudov. I don't think I was ever in the mindset in that fight that, whoa, Dave Allen could get something here. Maybe at the beginning when he was throwing some of those big bombs, but even then I was like, it's not sustainable, and he doesn't know how to do them in combinations against this big guy. He can't really do what he did to Fischer against Makhmudov. Makhmudov is just a bit of a smarter operator, and he's a better technical fighter than Fischer. The reason why he beat Fischer in the first place was the fact that he's just a better boxer and more experienced than Fischer. Fischer is a very, very novice-y heavyweight that has good power and he can scrap. So that's what's been getting him this far in the heavyweight division. But when we're talking about technique and boxing, he's a novice. And that's why he got exposed by Dave Allen. But that's neither here or there. I'm talking about the fact that Hergovich had a warm-up, and it makes sense now that it was a warm-up for this, because I can't see it being like anything else, and it didn't make sense why he was having a fight with Dave Allen. But if you're telling me, oh, it was because he wanted to warm up, maybe he felt rusty, maybe he wanted a bit of a confidence booster, maybe he wanted to you know, he's been training with a different trainer now. He feels 100%, but he needs to maybe show it in the ring, you know, not just in sparring or whatever. He needs it in the real, you know, ring and everything, like being in the actual space of it being real, you know. So then he can convince himself I'm ready. And if that works for him, which I think it has, 100%. I want Hergovich 100% against Moses Itauma. And we already know Moses Itauma has been foaming at the mouth, for a lack of better words. He's been ready for this fight from way back, you know? He's ready. So I don't need to say, oh, Moses Itauma is 100%. We know he is. It's about Hergovich being 100%. And if he needed to warm up, fine. But that was interesting, hearing that he took a while, then he asked for a, you know, a warm up. He needed to get himself 100% because he knows who he's going up against. Maybe that's him not taking Moses Itauma lightly. And to me, that's very interesting. This fight's going to be interesting. He's going to come in 100%. And that's what we want. But yeah, he's clearly dismissing the IBF title. With this interview, he basically put down the IBF. He said, I'm not concerned about it right now because the titles will be there. And even Coogan kind of, you know, portrayed, you know, well, Frank Warren has, you know, 2 titles in his stable already. He's got Ajit Caballero, the WBC, and the WBO with Daniel Dubois. And that's when we get into the next interesting, very, very interesting little tidbit that we get there of Moses Itauma maybe having a bit of a slip in saying this, because Coogan asked him, oh, is there going to be a fight with Daniel Dubois maybe down the line? What's that going to be? And Moses Itauma kind of goes, yeah, you know, we would fight, but not now. Maybe when we both have titles or 2, you know, and then kind of says, oh, Frank Warren might not want me to say this. And saying that makes me think, yo, this is actually a plan that probably Frank Warren's been conjuring up, you know, maybe this is what he wants for them. And this is true, you know, it's coming from Moses Itauma. And the fact that he even felt hesitant to say it, there must be some type of truth to it. The fact that I think Frank Warren, his idea is to have Daniel Dubois, he's already got a title, so he's already a step ahead right now. But his idea is to maybe get Daniel Dubois to hold on to that title, have a couple of defenses, build up his reputation again. He's a champion now. He's up there. He's the big dog in the scene. Let's say give him a couple more years. We also have on the other side Moses Itauma. Let's say he gets through the Hergovich fight. Boom. By the way, I'm just going off a theory that I'm making up, but it was actually said by Moses Itauma that Frank Warren, you know, possibly, I'm just saying from the way he said it, that maybe the idea is that Frank Warren would want Moses Itauma to have 1 or 2 titles, and then Daniel Dubois having 1 or 2 titles, and then they can unify together. So it's going to be a clash of either unification or undisputed. The fact that he said 1 or 2 for both of them, there is an opportunity, there is an idea of undisputed between both Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma. That's a crazy, crazy revelation to think. But I mean, you know, when you've got 2 of the best like new era fighters right now, in my opinion, Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma in your stable, I don't see why not. But can you imagine that? So my theory was, imagine Daniel Dubois going up, you know, getting to about 32, 33, being a vet, being able to hold on to his title, have some title defenses, and if he gets fortunate enough, there's a weak champion here or there, or a beatable champion for Daniel Dubois, he goes and gets another title. And imagine Moses Itauma, where I'm a bit more confident in this, that he would go and storm in, take a title and maybe take another title, or just even with 1. It depends on how he's looking. You know, after this fight, imagine he beats Hergovich, he has a couple more fights with top 10 fighters, or beat Hergovich, then go for the IBF. If it's Frank Sanchez, go fight Frank Sanchez, have an IBF title already, and that's already 1 apiece. But then you could say it's still too early because Moses Itauma is like 21, 22, and maybe he hasn't built his reputation enough. We let him go on a bit more, rack up some defenses against other top 10 opponents where we build the reputation of him as a champion. He's big now. He's getting big. Let's say 26. Optimum prime. He is the big heavyweight guy of the division. You know, he's the new champion, the new hot property. And then we have Daniel Dubois, the still young but like kind of veteran of the new era, you know, having his title, defending it. And now we're like, oh guys, we gotta get an all British clash and then really hype it up. And I'm telling you, if it works that way, this will probably be the two biggest like this would be the biggest British clash of all time, possibly getting more hype than AJ versus Tyson Fury, because at this point they've both been able to build their own reputations and their own statuses, and having titles each, that's a crazy unification. Frank Warren, that would be a dream, and I think that's his blueprint. And that revelation to me was just so insane. I had to make a video about this just to talk about it, because I was just like, yo, this is insane. I couldn't keep it in. I was so hyped and I wanted to make a video. Comment in the comment section below what you think about this idea and my theory. Am I just going crazy? Is it just hogwash, a mad dream, or do you think there is some weight to this, and could this possibly happen? You know, would Frank Warren do everything in his power to make sure that Daniel Dubois goes in the right direction, in his direction, to maybe be safe but still hype him, give him matches that he can win, hold on to the belt as long as possible? Moses Itauma maybe not have to hold him out so much, because, you know, he's, well, I don't know, he's more impressive and I think he can beat more people. But, you know, build him up, give him the right fights, get him a title, and oh my days, I just think it'll be insane. I think it'll be crazy. I think Ajit Caballero is beatable. I think Frank Sanchez has shown himself to be beatable. These fighters aren't insane. And Gassiev, I mean, mate, we're going to talk about Gassiev in the next video after this, because apparently he's not going to fight Joe Joyce. He's got another fighter and I'm going to talk about it. But Gassiev, if it's still Gassiev is 100% like beatable. So I can't see why not Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma running away with it, if they play their cards right, if they get the right, you know, backing and the right, like, pushing by Frank Warren. And Frank Warren, oh my days, he'll become the kingpin of the promoters, you know. Man, it'll be insane. It'll be insane. But let me know what you think about this, guys, in the comment section below. Like if you like this video. Hype if you can hype this video as well, and subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, very close now, and I want to smash it so we can go on to the next goal, which is 1,000 subscribers. I've been your boy Kronos, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.